Hey there fellow YouTubers, this is Anthony with Home Guitar Mods. In this week's Tone of the Week, we're going to talk about a workhorse of tone, the Boss LS-2 line selector. Let's get started. Alright, so like I said, we're going to talk about the Boss LS-2, what I would call a workhorse of tone. Now this isn't an overdrive pedal, it doesn't have any kind of effect, it's literally a mix pedal, or an A-B switcher, whatever you want to call it. It's a multitude of things. It wears many hats in the signal routing options for your pedal board, which is what makes it pretty awesome. This pedal has two effects loops. You have loop A, send and return A, and send and return B, and then a master input and master output. So basically your guitar goes in one side, out the other to your amplifier, and then you have two effect sends. From here, we have two knobs. Each of these volume knobs corresponds with each send. So A, you have an A knob, and B, you have a B knob. Those have a volume option of off all up to 20 decibels of clean boost. Now, in our modes, we have our routing options. So we have A and B, so we'll switch between loop A, and loop B. We have A in bypass, so A will come on and shut off. B in bypass, so B turns on and shuts off. A into B and then bypass. Or sorry, A to B and then bypass. So it'll go A, B, bypass, A, B, bypass. A plus B mix, which is what we're going to talk about, and then an output select. Now, what I think makes this pedal so cool is the mix option. What the mix option allows you to do is run both effect sends at the same time and mix them together, mix the sounds together. Now, why this is cool is because if you're like me and you have a noisy pedal, like I have the Echo Park by Line 6. This pedal is noisy. Noisy. Needs its own power supply. It's kind of a prima donna. They've done some things to try to help fix some of the sounds, but overall I find that when I turn the pedal on, with the mix knob where you would normally want it to mix your dry signal, there's a slight volume boost and there's some hiss, and it kind of drives me crazy. It's something the average person out front's not going to hear, but you as the guitar player are going to know it's there. So what's cool about this then is in my mix mode, I simply run a cable out of my send A or B, it's up to you, into the input of my line 6. I then run from the output of my line 6 to the input of the Boss again on that effects loop. And then from there, I just run you just run your delay pedal mix 100%, and then from the Boss you can mix how much of that wet signal comes in, and then have a clean tone that's not running through this pedal, but just through this one, which then allows you to control any kind of volume boost or any kind of sound differences. Plus then, with the delay pedal reverb with the wet all the way up, you're just getting the pure wet signal out of the effect, which actually in this one gives me more warbles, more cool delay sounds. Now, the delay pedal aside, which is why I purchased this pedal, if you've ever played a Voodoo Lab Sparkle Drive, they have a clean knob on there, so a clean mix built in the overdrive. And I thought, how cool would it be to have one of your other favorites? So this is kind of my favorite, the cheap MXR Classic Overdrive, which I've modded. I also have a full tone, the MOFSET 2, and have a clean blend option. Well, with this pedal, again, you don't need to run a jumper in the second effects loop. It'll automatically loop it. Like this is right now, I can run my overdrive pedal how I normally do, and then use the mix knobs to mix in a clean sound with that overdrive pedal, which is really cool. It really opens up a wide variety of tone. What you can also do with this mix feature is mix in another effect pedal. Usually, the traditional way would be, you take your first overdrive and you take your patch cable and you plug it into your other one, and you chain them all together in one linear line. Well, with the line selector, in mix mode, you can literally out of one effect send run one overdrive pedal, and out of the second effect send run another overdrive pedal, and then loop those back. and then run those pedals simultaneously stacked on top of each other, so separate. Two separate sounds, and blend the sounds together. So maybe you have one pedal that's got a lot of bass and one that's really brittle. You can stick them together and see how the sounds work, and you can create your own super crunchy, thick, crazy effect sound by using the Boss, something you wouldn't be able to do normally. So that's why I call this a workhorse of tone. It's got some crazy routing options outside of obviously your other stuff that a normal person would probably use it for. Two separate effects loops, so if you've got one big chain of effects and a second big chain of effects. Or another favorite way that I would love to use this would be to just run all of my overdrive pedals in one big loop. Because half the time you know which ones you want on coming to a chorus and which ones you want off. And then with this you could have them all on and kick them all on at once. Kick your whole distortion chain out at one time. You could bypass your whole board with this. Whatever you want to do, really the options are limitless. But what's really cool about this is, let's say you don't want to use this anymore. You don't want to use, you don't really have any loops and you've kind of changed your setup. This will still work as a 20 decibel boost, clean boost on either channel. So you could put the mode on A and bypass or B and bypass and use one of the mix knobs to get up to 20 decibels of boost, or turn your volume down however you want. So the pedal's still useful even when you're not using it for its intended purpose, which I think is cool. I like a pedal that can grow with me and change with my board. I think that's where you're going to get the bang for the buck and where I like to go for stuff. Granted, you can see this one's a little beat up. Like I said, I bought this at Guitar Center used today just to get rid of the noise of this. I had heard about it. Used, I paid $50, 49 whatever. I think new, they're about 80, so they're not too much more. It's a cool pedal to have in your arsenal. It's a really cool pedal to have in your arsenal, especially when mixing the A and B. I've talked way too long. Again, this is Untitled Guitar Mods. Go check this pedal out. Borrow it, plug your stuff into it, blend some cool overdrive stacks and crazy sounds, and see where this thing can take you sonically, because it can really give you a sound that can make you truly unique. Again, this is Anthony Home Guitar Mods. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep rocking and keep modding.